On this episode of Industry Relations, Rob and I discuss whether or not Zillow is a beta. Let's go. This is Industry Relations, a podcast that's at the intersection of real estate and technology from an insider's perspective, with Rob Hahn and Greg Robertson.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Industry Relations with the Notorious Rob, that would be me, and the fabulous Greg Robertson, Superman in the house.
Have you noticed, Rob? I've got some branding here.
Yes.
I've got the Organized Real Estate Murder Board. It
Yes.
is now in full effect. It's got a title. It's
But
we're ready to go.
You have to rename either the murder board or redo all the stickers. Because all the stickers you have up are like brokerages.
Well,
Right.
they're part of Organized Real Estate.
Come on, man. Organized real estate always meant associations and MLSs.
And the people they serve, man. Come on.
Please. But cool. Hey, it could just be real estate murder board. I love it. Once again, this is another reason, if you're an audio listener, that you want to come on our YouTube channel and click subscribe, because what are we, like 40 away? So
God, so close.
So close. Hook us up, everybody. Come on.
Get that 1K, man. That'd be so
We ain't
awesome.
gonna bother you only once a week, and you probably don't go on YouTube that often anyway.
Yeah.
So, having said that, I think you wanted to start by talking about the latest developments on the murder board, to update the murder board.
Douglas Elliman has, and it was kind of a weird release where they have settled, but they haven't announced what it is because their financials didn't come out. But I think we could strictly put them up here now on the side there. So we're still kind of left with, EXP and Redfin, right? And I don't know what the status of those guys are, but maybe. And then there's like a lot of the $2 billion club that we don't know about.
Correct.
That may
Correct.
be coming in there. So, but
Correct.
the clock's ticking, right?
Clock is ticking, and I assume they're all going to settle. But here's the thing: like I thought about this too. Like, yeah, clock is ticking, but that's if you want to join the NAR settlement.
Yeah.
If you're a big enough broker, are the lawyers going to say no? We don't want your money.
Right.
You go like, we're looking to settle. What you want? Just pay at this point. I think the drama is almost over.
Yeah, hopefully, right? I mean, so we're recording this on Friday, the 3rd,
Yep.
NAR mid-year, or that's what I always call it, but the
Yeah,
legislative meetings kind of kick off on Sunday. The MLS policy meeting is going to be on Monday, and apparently from what I understand, they've taken all the MLS rules and they've redlined out and maybe added to some of them for the policy, and I think that's what they're going to go over on Monday.
Yep.
And they're just, if you're on the bus or not on the bus, man. So we'll have to see what goes on.
I've heard the phrase "fait accompli," meaning it's done. So
right.
If that's the case, then you do have to ask, like, what's the purpose and the point of the MLS policy committee?
Well, yeah, I mean, because I don't think they're looking for feedback, right?
Right. So what's the point?
Yeah, I mean, I guess let everybody know this is what's going to happen. Let's go over this. Let's tell you what our reasoning was for making these changes. And then,
But that could be done through email. Don't have meetings.
The meeting was already on the books though, right? The meeting was going to happen, right? So
last time, aren't those like 3-hour meetings? 4-hour meetings?
Yeah, it's about 4 hours, 3.5, I think. Yeah.
Right. I think they could just use the room and have a concert. Have a talent show, right? Because clearly they're not going to do anything useful. I mean, it's done. They're not looking for feedback. The staff, the lawyers have written, here's the new rules and the policies.
Again, I don't know this, but I mean, they're not looking for feedback at that meeting. I'm assuming they got feedback before the meeting so that they're...
Sure.
Sure.
So again,
it's so funny because now
a talent show, man.
It's so funny. It's like having doing this with you now for a while, and then I'm getting more into understanding. And Sonny will love this. Your facial expressions. You're like, and I'm like, I'm reading your face so much better than I used to be able to right now. And I'm sure there's an expression in there that your dad exactly gave you sometimes, your mom, right? So. Just this this wonderment and like, come on, man. Really? That's what you're gonna say?
Yeah, yeah, probably. Well, I don't know. I'm an asshole. So what am I supposed to say? So yeah, I
Okay.
guess I did see this morning. Riz Media reported that the date has been pushed to August
Right,
instead of
right.
July. So again, it's something you
It was
talked
just a
about.
filing thing, right? So yeah, they didn't. I guess the attorneys didn't turn in the stuff, and that was when the clock was going to start ticking. And that I
No,
think
no, I
something
think they
like that.
probably redid the. You know, they had the July deadline,
Yeah,
so it's going to be August now. So an
right.
additional 30 days or so, but it still doesn't answer the implementation issue.
Yeah,
But whatever. Again, like they'll talk it out, they'll figure
yeah,
it out.
yeah.
But the
Well, if
rule
they,
changes will be done by August.
I think
Is
three things. If they've been listening to us like 3 years ago, they would have been more prepared for this, which they haven't. And if
well,
they've been listening to us for the past 6 months, they know this implementation thing with the forms and the vendors and everything else is a big issue.
mhm.
And I just, we hope that happens also. But
Here's to
yeah,
you, Mrs. Robinson. You know, make it happen. But I think it's good news that I think the drama is almost over.
yeah,
The only thing I could see happening now would be like we've talked about, we've beaten this horse so much, is like the DOJ intervenes again, which we've talked about it. I do not expect that to happen
no,
this year.
yeah,
Um, Maybe there's some weird shit that could happen at like a state attorney general level, right? Again, I'm not really expecting that this year. Um, but other than that, I think the drama is pretty much done. There's some new buyer lawsuits that were filed,
yeah.
but
Which
it's
seems
like
odd. Come on, man.
I do feel like the courts probably should just throw out the buyer lawsuits because the sell side lawsuits were never like, well, they were only going to deal with the sell side part of this. Do you know what I mean? It was kind of all of it, the overpayment, quote unquote, for all of it. So if they let the buyer lawsuits continue, that it really is two bites at the apple. I think that's a little bit too much.
2 bites, damn. Yeah, and
So
like, what are they going to get? Are they going to get their $12? I mean,
probably,
what the fuck, right?
probably. Look, again, the more important thing is that the lawyers for the buyers would get
Yeah,
their $120 million, right?
yeah,
That's the more important
absolutely,
part,
yeah,
obviously. So you know,
yeah. It'll
but
be
yeah,
interesting to get what's the next. Well, the next thing is this is going to be launched live into the consumer world, and
hmm
we're going to see what happens if this
yeah,
is going to be as big a deal or not a big a deal, and see how
yeah,
everybody executes
yeah.
and whatnot, right?
Yeah. And which then brings us to the second topic of the day because okay, the rule changes, execution, etc. And I mean, I'll just take the news and then give me your take
Okay.
because my understanding we're going to fight. So the news is, look, a couple of days ago, Zillow released like its new touring agreement, right?
Right.
Um, and I didn't want to talk about it. I was like, who cares? Because it didn't seem that important to me.
Right.
But I've gotten multiple people saying, what's your take on this? What do you think? This guy. I'm like, all right, I'll go take a look at it. I went and took a look at it. It wasn't that big a thing, so I wrote up a little post about it. My understanding now is like there's some like, dude, Zeta rate is climbing out the fucking walls once again. I've seen some takes on this that are just like, really? Like that's where you went with this? So,
Yeah,
having said that, give me
yeah,
your take.
I read your post, and I mean, at the end of the day, you're like, I don't think anybody's going to use this, so this
No,
could be much to do over nothing, right?
right? That's how I felt.
But here's where I came from, right?
Okay.
And it's a theme. This shouldn't be so shocking to you because we talk about that. We've talked about this. Remember when?
But actually, let's hold off. Can you just describe real quickly from your perspective the touring agreement that Zillow put out, what you thought were like the two or three most important things about it? Because I think we're just assuming everyone's read it.
Oh,
Everyone
okay,
knows.
yeah.
Right.
Well, okay. Again, something we've been talking on this podcast a lot is Zillow spent $500 million buying showing time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They've been remorphing showing time into a whole package, showing time plus. I mean, a whole system
Yep.
for their premier
Yep.
agents and their flex program. Now, their flex program, they get, I think, like 35 or 40% as a referral fee, right? And a big part of that is the way everything works together, right? So, and a consumer can go online, they can see a house, and there's a request a tour button on there. They can click the request a tour button, and now that they have the showing time integration, It's all tied into all the showing time types of things there in most markets, not in all. And, a consumer can say, okay, I'm going to click that. And like at 11 o'clock, they could show up and go see a house. So it's a very kind of, you could tell they had a vision in mind with the showing time thing. It's part of this kind of ecosystem, this super app or whatever you want to call it, right? We've been talking a lot about the podcast about, well, this new thing. So that's the thing there. So that what we've been talking about is that with this requirement of that within our settlement, that you have to have a written agreement
Yep.
that outlines what's what as far as it's a full disclosure and transparency to the buyer of what the relationship is between the agent and the person. They have to get one of those things before they show a house. So that friction, the friction of having them to sign something, kind of to me, I think clearly now that Zillow's doing this is thrown a wrench into this kind of seamless experience they were looking for, right? So we've been talking about this. How is it that they're now that they have this friction point? Are we going to solve this, right? And everybody's talking about there's no way that people are going to sign this full-on buyer's agreement to just show a house when you just met them, right? And what's going to be the solutions here for this? And I think what Zillow is putting out there is this is not exactly a buyer's agreement, as you pointed out in your post, but it's a touring agreement.
Yeah.
That is also, I think the unique thing there is that they're having it cover 7 days or something. So again, they're trying to get rid of the friction, right? And making this thing as watered down as you can get, right? Because it really doesn't make anybody commit anything. But what it does do is it makes clear what it isn't, in a sense, right? It's more of a what it isn't than what it is, I think. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. Okay. Yeah. So what was your take? I mean, so my take was I really felt like this was Zillow guys being like, let's do something nice for the industry. Let's do something nice for brokers and agents and just release this. And because there's no requirement that they use this. Right. Yeah. So it's like, look, here's an idea. Like, we had our legal team look at it. This meets the requirements. Just use this, right? And I'm like, no one's going to use it because of all the reasons why I've talked about in my post. We could go over on the podcast, but like, nice. I mean, thanks. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean,
what's like what I'm getting is like all this like nefarious shit. Like, oh my God, Zillow is trying to take. I'm like, what? Like, why?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a Zatorade thing about it. I mean, I'll say what I have about it is, and we've talked about this on the podcast before, and that's when Damian Ailes wrote this not but this Wall Street Journal post about, hey, buyer's agency is a good thing, and we should fight for this, right?
Yes.
And then Zillow comes up and says, I really like what Damian said. I think it's just really smart there, and like, it's just so. And I think we said this or I said this on the, it's just so like, this bromance of like, listen, you both guys sell buyer leads. This is so, to me, transparently like, come on. I mean, yeah, you're saying this because that's how you make a living. It's not like you're the holier than thou wrapping yourself in some sort of self-righteousness, right? And that's the thing I have, when I saw this, it's like my headline for it was, Zillow wants the industry to save their showing time business, right?
Yeah, and I think that was a really unfair take, Greg.
Oh, like, come on. Now, to me, like, if they came out and says, hey, we've come up with this agreement, we think it's going to be a good thing for our premier agents.
Yeah.
And if people, want to use it, hey, feel free to do this. But no, it's like, they have to come out with this like holier than thou. We want to put consumers first. I mean, they just wrap this in all this kind of self-righteous nonsense, right? When all they had to do was kind of say, hey, we've got this idea, let's put this out there. But it's like they want to make themselves like, the patron, Saint Barton, the patron saint of consumers or something, right? I mean, give me a break. Give me a break.
Give me a break, my ass, dude. So, time out. It's not like some news that Zillow's been taking this like consumers are North Star, consumer first attitude from
ridiculous.
Day one.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, fine. You could call it ridiculous, but this isn't some new thing. Right? That's not what
I called him out before. I'm calling him out now. I mean, no, absolutely.
No, it's fine. I mean, you could agree, disagree. I happen to kind of think that's where their heart's at. I do kind of believe that they genuinely think we're consumer first, blah, 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 Do they want to work with agents? Like, yeah, I think over time they've gotten to understand that some agents and brokers are amazing. But I think we've talked about the frustration of Zillow, Realtor, like every portal on the planet has a frustration with the 50% of agents who will not respond to a motherfucking lead.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? So, I mean, Zillow, I think I was writing this back in 2012, right? When under Spencer Raskoff, they made the switch in premier agents and were like, look, if you're a shitty agent, we don't want your money. We only want to work with the best, right? So this isn't some new stance that Zillow's taking, consumer first. Hey, there's a disruption. Let's figure out how to benefit the consumer first. Like, that's pretty fucking consistent, is my point, right? If anything, I think Zillow's a little naive. They really remind me.
Oh, wow. Really? So
I really do. I really do.
Unbelievable.
They really remind me of, like, what's a good example? Like, a good analogy of like people who just feel like as long as I'm like trying to be sweet, they'll like me. You know? No. So it's like beta males. They remind me a lot of these beta male who are like friend zoned. These guys were like,
they're simps. You're talking.
They're total simps for the industry. They're just like, look, as long as we're nice to them and as long as we throw parties for them, they'll love us, right? Eventually, they're gonna like us. I'm like, nah, no. Whereas, like,
oh man,
Homes.com in a way is actually a little bit more alpha, right? They're saying all the right things, but everyone's kind of like, yeah, but don't fuck with Homes, right? Don't fuck with CoStar, like.
Wow, man. I mean, I thought that,
So no, I don't think this
vendor whores and vendor sluts, and now they're simps. I mean, I don't know where to fucking go now, dude. Jiminy Christmas.
But I mean, like, am I wrong? Zillow bends over backwards to like be super sweet and super nice to the MLSs, to NAR, to every like, and everyone's constantly bitch slapping them, and they don't. You don't see them respond. You don't see them. Remember when Zillow sued Armless and
still going on.
Right. But that was so unique that we talked about it. We're like, Zillow is suing somebody? What? Like, Zillow doesn't do that. They just take it. They just get bent over and take it. Like, that's like Zillow's.
I don't think I've ever really thought of Errol as a simp. I mean, I'm
not saying Errol personally. I'm saying Zillow as a company. They kind of act like a simp when it comes to the industry.
Yeah.
Think about this. Yeah. When is the last time you saw Zillow really go after and punish somebody who's against them, who's anti-Zillow?
Aligned showings. Yeah.
They haven't done shit with aligned showings yet.
Well, they're suing them, right? I mean,
right. So that was literally the first time in 2024.
Yeah. Let's think about that. I mean, I will tell you, I think where they really got their balls was when they stopped doing the List Hub contract, right? And that was a little bit of a power move back in the
little bit,
yeah.
But I'm saying, like, dude, we have seen brokers go online, go on social media, agents go online, go on social media, and just fucking trash Zillow, right? Just trash them and trash anybody that even says anything. Like, I get called a Zillow shill all the time, and like, what's Zillow paying you? I'm like, I wish they were paying me, like, and I'm sitting here like. And then I go to Zillow.com. Oh, look, there's your profile.
Right. No.
What the fuck?
No, there's what do they call it? Closet Zillow agents, right?
What I mean is like, have you ever seen Zillow go, you know what? Fuck you. We're going to terminate your Zillow membership. We're kicking you out. All your listings are now off Zillow. We've never seen anything like that.
Well, I mean, they have performance things, but not in some sort of like aggressive, like offensive manner. Being on the offensive.
They've been so they're simps.
So naive. Zillow is a naive.
So I think this touring agreement is in that line. I think it's simping. It's like, hey guys, how about this agreement? What about this? I'm like, I think it comes from a decent place. I mean, does it help with showing time? Maybe. I'm really like at this point now, having looked at this agreement, I'm not sure that you need anything like this for showing time. I'm really unsure of it. Like, so I don't think this really helps them with showing time. I don't think this is gonna help save showing time. Like, I think this just, like I said, them trying to be nice, simping, and getting burned. That happens over and over and over again.
Right. No, I still, I mean, I look at these guys as being very shrewd and smart. And again, I guess I think this stuff is a little bit of an act, and I'm like, whatever, man. I mean, just do what you do, and stop trying to be, Mother Teresa of the industry, or trying to, put yourself as that, right? Come on. I mean, be a little
Yeah,
bit,
yeah.
yeah.
Here's the thing. I think there's a decent chance in the next couple of years, next few years, um, we'd see Zillow stop simping. Just like young men of America, I think are largely stopping the simping game, right? So I think we could see Zillow stopping that. Um, Now, whether we as an industry are ready for that, like Alpha Zillow, I'm not sure.
Right.
That's a
No,
whole different conversation.
yeah,
But
when the I guess we would call it a Zimp. Is that
no, I think Zalpha.
ZIMP?
It'll be Zalpha.
Zalpha. Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Zeta. I don't,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if we're ready for that, but
I mean, it's like you talked about before with and I understand what you're saying. But remember we talked about how you were kind of like, when is somebody going to give us some straight talk?
mhm.
Right? These things seem to be rehearsed, or if they're not rehearsed, it's like vanilla bland,
Sure,
whatever. I
sure,
want somebody that's authentic, right?
sure.
And you can say anything you want about like Andy Florence, but the guy is like, he's authentic as shit, right? He's telling you like it fucking is, and he's gonna, he's been vocal about, what is he called, Zilter, and all these kind of things that nobody really kind of has said before, right?
Okay.
Um, but to me, this just doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like authentic to me at all.
Look, I think that's a fair look. Zillow is a big fucking company now, right? With lots of lawyers. Do I think that the comms effort out of Zillow has been, sort of in line with kind of the current? No, of course not. Right. In other words, like rather than releasing this letter, why not have Errol go on a podcast? Right. And because like you know Errol, you talk to the man, that dude's pretty goddamn authentic. You know what I'm saying?
No,
It-
Errol is he goes on podcasts. He's not afraid of anything. So I mean, I
right.
totally respect that
And
for
we've had
sure.
him on this one,
Yeah.
like so. Imagine if he had just come on industry relations. Hey, I have an announcement to make. We're going to release this form, and then we talk about it and be super authentic, and then release. Okay, that's probably a better tactic. But in a way, it's like, yeah, relatively. I don't know, but I get your point. Both NAR, Zillow, some of these big corporations, they all do this, right? And it's not just them. It's like Disney, ABC, fucking Apple. Every big company does this, like super massage, super PC. Like I, I, I feel like, you know what? Until the boomers are gone, like we're not going to necessarily see that change. Because I could see some boomer being super offended. Oh my god, I can't believe you went and blah, blah. And meanwhile, everyone like under 50 is like, oh look, authenticity, how
Yeah,
amazing.
exactly. Right.
Oh, that's a fair thing. But then again, here's the thing, man. Like neither of us run major publicly traded companies, bro. I
For
bet
a
if we
reason,
did,
probably.
but here's the thing. I honestly believe this. If Giant Steps goes public, or if Decenter goes public, we can't do this podcast.
Right.
Or if we're gonna do a podcast, like my lawyer is gonna be sitting over my left shoulder. Like I get it, man. I get it. The authenticity thing though is like, oh fine, do the lawyer, have the speaker training, have all of that, right? Because I tell you what, Andy, you think he's being authentic, and I think he is being somewhat authentic, but he's also not gonna be on stage and just start saying shit that it's gonna get his company in trouble. Do you know what I mean? I think he's just better practice in some ways.
Yeah. I mean, he's got his shtick.
Yeah,
Rich Barton's got their shtick,
of
whatever.
course, of course.
And I can be, a lot of time was, and you're a little different, but what I try to do, and this is, I realize this is tough because I try to do it and I sometimes fail miserably. Satire is tough,
It is.
right?
It's real
And
hard.
when I wrote that post, to me, it's a very satirical thing
Yes.
of like, just, I'm taking the extreme of this. Like
Yes.
Zillow asked the industry to save it, to save its showing time business. I mean, it's just, it's what you do to me in these podcasts where with the ideas, you take a very, not a satirical way, but in the same kind of concept, you take an idea all the way to the right, left, or whatever it is that day you're on. And then it forces me to kind of like, there's some truth there.
Yeah.
And there's some bullshit there. Right. So that's, that's where I'm getting at. It's like, I just, please stop this, and I think, part of what I try to do on Vendor Alley a little bit is, and what we get permission to do, which we talk about, how somehow we get to say what other people don't, is like, the emperor has no clothes. I think that's part of our shtick also. That's our shtick.
Sure, absolutely. And I think if, like in this case, like I said, in a sense, I could say Zillow is like the emperor with no clothes. This agreement is not going to do anything, right? But I'm saying to me, this is naivete and simping, possibly because, I don't know, possibly because they're not as cynical, maybe. It's like maybe they're more idealistic. Here's what I mean. So let's actually do that pushing things to the logical conclusion thing for a useful thing, because not everyone's read my post. The reason why I think like this is not big a deal is, what happens if say you get a showing time request, whatever, toward this and that, right? And you say, cool, I will show that home. Okay? Sign nothing. No agreement. Total violation of the rules. Yes, yes, I know. My MLS says I have to have, yes, I know. Realtor says I have to. I'm just going to say, fuck you. I'm just not going to comply. What do you think happens?
There's no enforcement anywhere that I know of. I mean, is a DOJ going to, hire people to kind of go to those things? Yeah.
Right. And let's say there's enforcement, right?
What's the fine?
You did not get a written agreement signed with the buyer. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you going to kick me out of the MLS? Like,
right.
Is this a death penalty offense? Like, or is it like $25 fine and watch this 10-minute video on why you need to have a buyer's agreement signed? Like,
right.
What are we talking about here? Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're absolutely right. That it's going to be a nudge, wink, wink a little bit. Hold on.
Sure.
For your kind of like people in the street kind of whatever. I think that the thing with Zillow is they're a publicly traded company. Yeah. They can't work in that world, right? They have to have their I's dotted and their T's crossed.
Yeah,
right?
but correct. They didn't need to do this at all. They say that in the letters, like, Zillow's not required to offer consumer-facing agreements. We're not required, right? But it's like, but we think we have an opportunity to provide tools for the industry. So look, let us be nice. They're fucking simping, dude.
But again, that's not the case. They're doing it because they realize that this rule is going to cause friction in their business model, and they're trying to kick the industry in the ass to like, hey, let's start a discussion, which I guess they've been successful at. We're having a discussion about it, but no, don't think that, they didn't have to do something. Nothing was going on here. Nobody was thinking like, oh, how is this going to happen? Especially when they want a, and again, satirically, they want to Uberize the agent, right? They want to like, hey, somebody clicks on a button, an agent, wakes out of bed. Oh, I got to go do a showing. I'm going to go. Right.
Yep.
That's what they want. Having them show up to a place, and they use the dating analogy and like, hey, would you sign this prenup before we go on a date, is ridiculous. Right.
Of course.
They had to kind of come up with something, because we were all talking about it, but I didn't hear anybody coming up with any solutions at all.
Okay. I think I did in my post, and let's come up with a solution right now. It's real simple. Just fucking ignore the rule.
But they can't do that.
Yes, they can.
They're public.
Yes, they can.
Company.
And here's why. Okay. So as a buyer agent.
Oh, they just tell their, hey, remember, you got to get a written agreement. And they're like, yeah, I got you.
No, as a buyer agent, you say, I'm just not even going to pay attention to it. And here's why, right? I think buyer agents will come in two flavors. And I wrote about this in my post. You're going to have the professional buyer agents who actually add a tremendous amount of value, who they're not going to do a fucking tour without some commitment anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like they're not desperate. They're not like, oh my God, I haven't had a sale in 6 months. So let me, oh, look, I got to buy.
Even if they've never met the person at all, this is
No, no. I think
a
what the
consumer
profession,
clicked a button and now they show up to a doorstep and this guy's saying, hey, sign this.
dude, what I'm saying is like, this is many, many years ago, right? Right. But I remember when I first met the agent that I ended up using in Houston, right? I got a referral. I called him. Hey, we're looking to buy a house. He says, let's meet up for coffee. I'm going to explain what I do. I want to hear about your needs. There wasn't, cool, let me run down to the house and show it to you, sir. It was, we're going to sit down, meet. And then we met. We had a conversation. At the end, they're like, you know what? Okay, yeah, let's work together. Okay. And here's the thing. What he told me, this wasn't, again, I don't remember signing a written buyer agreement, but verbal agreements are agreements, by the way, right? What he said was, look, and I'm not trying to lock you down. Either this works for both of us or it doesn't. If I'm not working out for you, just tell me. And then I'll see if I've got another, right? Like, my point is those professionals are not going to be like, oh my God, I got a showing time request. Let me pull up this form so I can get a sign so I can show this home. They're going to be like, let's meet for coffee. I want to hear about you. Are you moving here? Where are you moving? Why are you moving? Do you have family? Do you have kids? You know what I mean? Like,
but the button doesn't say let's meet for coffee though. The button says show me this house.
I understand, but that show me the house is going to go to somebody, right?
Well, it's going to go to somebody that's been vetted by Zillow who's paying money for those.
Fine. So it's going to go to some premier agent. The premier agent is not, especially Zillow premier agents after the purge of the crappy, right?
Yeah.
A lot of them aren't going to be just fucking running out the door like, they're just not.
Well, but then they either have to take the button away or change the name of the button.
No, why?
Again,
how does this book a showing button work today?
From what I understand is he says, see this house by 11 o'clock. And let's say it's 9:30 right now.
Yeah.
You click the button, you fill out a form.
Yeah.
And then you get a response saying, yeah, I'll meet you there at 11.
Okay, fine. That will still be in place. So that's the second group of agents. I'm saying the first group of agents who are like the real professionals, they're not doing that.
But the real professionals are on Zillow. We just talked about that.
Greg, they're not doing that today. You're telling me that the real team leader is showing, oh, it's 9:30. I got an alert from Zillow.
You probably have somebody on the team that works with buyers. I mean,
exactly.
Again,
bingo.
Why?
Bingo. Somebody on the team, some junior, low level, nobody, like just learning the business. Yes. The showing agents, right?
Okay. So I'm really confused now.
Okay,
so those guys will use it. But
so just walk through with me. I'm saying today that showing time Uberization, it's not the premier agents. It's not the top tier professionals who are responding to those. Can we agree on that?
That's all they work with is top tier professional teams and super agents or super teams, right?
Fine, but let's put it this way. Those agents are not running out the door because they got an alert about a showing. They're just not. Can we agree on that? Chris Spiker is not getting an alert at 9 o'clock for a 10 o'clock showing and running out the door.
I would say this Chris Spiker team is.
We're going to adjust the team shortly. Can we just agree that the Chris Spikers, the top tier agents, are not doing that?
Let me say this. I would say, Chris, if somebody requested to her on a $5 million home, right? Chris might fucking get out of his bed and go there.
He might, but I don't think so. I think they're first going to be cool. Let's meet up. I want to know about you. If it's a $5 million, here's the thing. If there's $5 million home, I need to kind of verify and vet that you can actually afford it. Why the fuck would I waste my time?
Again,
some homeless guy shows up.
I understand where you're going. That absolutely, I get what you're saying. But I mean, the button says
we're gonna get to the button.
No, door, right?
I know you're so obsessed with the button and the so.
Well, they bought showing time so they could have this.
I just want agreement that the top tier professionals are not going to become Uberizer. Oh my God, I got a showing, I'm gonna run out. Can we agree on that?
Again, well, for the sake of moving this, again, if it's a $5 million home, I think he might get up and do that. But
I really doubt it, because then I want to vet. Like, why the fuck would I waste my time if it's some homeless guy? So my point is, I think the top the producers, the professionals, they're not doing this. Period. They're going to do a meeting. They're going to really walk through it. And then they're going to do the thing that everyone's talking about now. Prove your value. Talk about why, blah, 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 all that shit. And they'll treat it like a listing presentation, do a buyer presentation. The buyers go, okay, that's cool. Now, cool. I want to work with you. Here's a written agreement that we have to sign because required, right? And we'll talk about that. And then they'll get a full-on buyer's agreement signed. Period. Now let's talk about the second part, which is the button, right? Because there is a whole, whatever, hundreds of thousands of this other type of agent, right? Who are doing 2 deals a year, 3 deals a year. And they are desperate. And they're like, sure, okay. Yeah, I got an alert. I'm going to run out. Because who knows, I might catch one, right? Might catch one. I mean,
so you're telling me that Zillow works with these 2-year deal agents?
Those agents are on the teams because you're obsessed with the teams, right? Yeah. I don't think the three deals a year agents are signing up for a lot of Zillow leads, do you?
Again,
they can't afford it.
Again, I really am struggling to kind of understand what you're saying here, because when you're part of a team, the way I understand how teams are structured, right? There's teams that are good at listing presentations. There's teams that are good with lead generation, right?
Yeah.
They're doing some PPC stuff. They're doing Zillow. They're doing whatever.
Yeah.
There's a team that works as a transaction coordinator for the team. There is a showing person that does the team.
Exactly.
That showing agent is fucking great. Right. Exactly. If it's a great team, that showing agent is great. It's not that they're doing 1 or 2 deals a year. They're part of a business.
Right. They're doing 0 deals a year.
Well, they get credit for it because the team
always
gets
they don't.
Paid.
Not in the MLS.
Well, not in the MLS, but
they get paid.
As far as they get paid.
That's my point.
So
I'm agreeing.
You're telling me that a Chris Speaker team, like, everybody's good except that showing guy because he only does 1 or 2 deals a deal. That doesn't make any goddamn sense.
That guy's not ready to be a buyer agent. That guy's not. Yeah, he can't negotiate deals. He doesn't know enough. He's new.
Well, no, okay, that's fine.
Or he's
but
part-time.
You're saying they were subpar agents, is what you said.
They are subpar agents.
Well, I don't know if I'm gonna if I'm running a business.
Would you trust a showing agent with sale of your home? Again, what kind of experience do you have? For the past 3 years, Greg, I've been a showing agent on so-and-so's team.
If I'm going to hire a showing agent, it's going to be the best damn showing agent there ever was.
But you're not. My point. Would you hire the showing agent to sell your house?
Well, I think the showing agent's whole pitch is like, it's just not me. I have a team
behind
me.
That's right. Yeah. My point is, so when I said there's subpar, like, that's literally what I mean. You're not going to hire that individual to sell your house, to be the main agent. You're going to hire the team principal, but that showing agent has a very specific role. It's like a paralegal in a law firm.
But
right?
again.
So hold on.
A person presses the button.
Right. No, we're gonna get
their
there.
expectation is, I'm going to see this home.
That's right.
I'm not going to I'm not going to show up at the doorstep and then go, hey, what do you say we go over to coffee and spend 3 hours? Right. I know it committed to showing you a home at 11, but I'd like to take 2 hours of your time right now and take you to this coffee shop and tell you how great I am.
No, I agree. That's not going to happen. So that's what I'm saying.
So that's the struggle.
Okay, so
that I think
let me finish then. My point is the showing agent will show up to show the house with no agreement.
Right. So what you're saying is basically nobody's going to follow this thing or should follow it.
What I'm saying is, at a showing agent level, you're not a buyer agent. Just show up and show the house.
So
sign nothing. Sign nothing. Okay, just show the house.
Again, the settlement says
you have to have a written agreement.
Yes. Whether you call yourself a paralegal, a showing agent,
ignore it.
Yeah, so that's where I was getting at. You're saying
because here's how, because this is, I think, how it's going to play out. Showing agent's going to show up, right? Say, hey, here's the house, right? I'm showing agent from the Spiker team, right? Or whatever, right? Mega team.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 here's the house. Hey, by the way, I'm just showing agent, right? I'm going to show you the house. I don't represent you. I'm not your agent. But if you like the house, I will put you in touch with my boss, who will then sit down with you, explain the process, explain the value, the whole blah, blah, blah. And at the end of it, at that point, you can sign a buyer agent agreement. Okay. Now you have a written buyer's agreement.
No, I mean, that's...
right. Did you violate the NAR rule?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely, 100%.
Was someone harmed?
Well, again, it's like not wearing a seatbelt, right? I mean...
was anyone harmed? No.
No idea. I mean, you're talking about procuring cause and some other things.
We're going to get to that, of course, right?
Now, here's what's harmed. Here's what's harmed, right?
Yeah.
Here's who's harmed. So that buyer, and there's another saying in business, it's buyers are liars, right? Mm-hmm. And that buyer the next day goes and is riding around with her wife and sees a sign and says, "Oh, I want to see that house." They call the number on the thing, right? And the agent says, "Oh, I can be there in 30 minutes. I'll meet you there." Great. Go to the house. Agent says, "Yeah, hi, my name is, mega agent, whatever. And before I can show you the house, I need you to sign this agreement." Why? Well, it's the rules. We belong to the MLS. Well, I just went to the Zillow guy and he just showed me the home without signing anything. Why do I have to sign with him? Now that's going to be a report to the MLS and, and blah, blah, blah. Right. So the harm in that case is if only some people are following the rules and others are not.
Yeah.
I mean, there's I think a harm there.
I suppose. And the people who are following that rule, you're stupid. I don't know what to say.
Yeah. Again, it's a rule. They've agreed to it. If they're not going to follow it, I mean, that's a whole other subject.
It's
an idiotic rules.
It's an idiotic rule anyway, right? Like this is probably one of my least favorite sections of the settlement because it was drafted by lawyers who don't know shit about how real estate works. Seriously. This is not how real estate works.
I think we've been talking about, I think you and I agree that when we first saw this, that we were saying at this, like, how are they going to do this?
Right.
It doesn't make any goddamn sense. It is nonsense. Right.
It's total nonsense. What they're trying to do, right, is, avoid this like abusive buyer agent relationships where like the consumer is surprised, like, holy shit, what? Like that kind of shit. Okay, well, this rule isn't going to do that. This like, you must have a written buyer agreement before the tour. Like that's not going to do it, right? There are different ways they could have done this. But what I just described, you press a button on showing time, somebody shows up, shows the home, right? And maybe the only change is you show up and say, I am not your agent. I'm not your agent. I don't represent you. I'm just here to show you the house. Okay? And then be friendly, be nice. Oh, yeah, look at the chandelier. Look at the marble countertops. No. And then at the end of it, are you thinking about buying this house? Are you looking for a buyer agent?
No, I mean, you can.
Let me put you in touch with my boss.
Yeah, I mean, again, you're just describing. Just don't follow the rule. Anybody cannot follow the rule. I mean, I just don't know if that's a real strategy, right?
Well, I think it's a total real strategy. Yeah. Because again, so somebody tell me, hey NAR, hey MLS, what kind of penalties are going to attach to somebody for violating this little rule?
Yeah. Well, again, this was apparently important to somebody. It sounds like, with the settlement. So if again, like anything else, if they're not going to follow any sort of rule on here, all they're doing is inviting, this whole thing to be kind of brought up again. Right. If, I just don't know if it's a strategy to basically
that's utter
say,
nonsense.
I'm going to turn
that is nonsense, Greg.
To these rules and not these rules.
It is nonsense that you do have to pick and choose, right? You do have to pick and choose. But when the settlement says you can offer compensation, okay, now you're going to talk about you have to have a written agreement before you show a home. Yeah, I'm going to ignore that. It's not an essential part of the scheme, is my point. Right.
In your opinion.
In my opinion. Please consult your antitrust lawyers and the rest of it. All right. The second part of this is this. If you have a rule and someone violates it, guess what? You can't be sued for antitrust.
Right. But if you are, I think what happened, I think the worry would be is if you're not enforcing at least something, then you're basically endorsing people not to follow the rule, right? If you don't have any sort of enforcement.
This against, so you got to enforce it. Fine. So what's the enforcement? Yeah. $5 fine.
And to be clear, I don't think you're saying don't
it's kind of like speeding limit.
No.
Do you obey the speed limit, Greg?
I try to.
Get the fuck out of here. You liar.
Listen, nobody I drive vintage Volkswagens, okay? If I can get those things over 55, it's a good day.
Nobody obeys speed limit.
Listen, I think what you're saying, and I understand, you're not saying Zillow should just tell everybody not to.
No, that's not like Zillow should tell. No, Zillow do this, do whatever. Here's a 7-day showing agreement. I'm like, why do you even need how about a 15-minute showing agreement? For the next 15 minutes, I'm going to be providing showing services while we walk through this house.
Like, I think they're doing it multiple days because they're hoping that, they're going to somehow.
No. So what I'm saying is start thinking about those tours as a lead gen opportunity. That's all it is. At the end of the tour, hopefully you can get a buyer agency agreement out of them.
No, I mean, I think that that's exactly how they think of it. It is a lead
Right.
generating opportunity.
Right.
Actually, it's better
Right.
than a lead. I mean,
That's how you should think of it. So then,
but
pay
again,
the fucking fine to the MLS.
That doesn't take away that there is a rule now because of the NR settlement that says you have to do this, right?
Right. So I'm urging my listeners to ignore that rule.
Oh God.
To just go show the house and then get a buyer agency agreement at the end of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's the thing. And I think it was I don't think it was Chris.
Can I point something out? That improves consumer experience. Right? Because at that point, the Uberification, I press a button on Zillow and it says, okay, pull, your tour's been scheduled for 11 o'clock. I show up. There's somebody there. They open the door. They show me the house. I'm not signing nothing. I don't have to sit there and listen to a spiel. None of it. At the end of it, hey, did you like that house? Are you looking for an agent? Will you give us a shot? My boss is going to meet with you tomorrow for coffee at Starbucks. Okay. Who the fuck has been harmed? What is the conspiracy here to keep prices high? None of it. So fuck off. Okay. That's how I see it. So to me, ignore the fucking rule. And then have the MLS enforce it on you. Show me, like, are you kidding me? The MLS, 530 of them. Some of them have like a half part-time, CEO doing everything. They're going to sort of, okay, so what time did this come in, sir? Can we see the proof of the written agreement? Like, get the fuck out of here. They're not doing that.
I'm telling you, there are definitely people whose personality are rule followers.
Of course.
And they're going to follow the rules. And then when they find out another agent is not following the rules, that's going to be a fucking problem.
Sure. Rawr. Okay, cool. And then go do your ethics complaint and then spend whatever kind of time and just like, whatever, fine. Fucking ignore it. That's my take on. If I were an agent, that's what I do. It is not my recommendation.
That's a strategy.
It is a strategy. It's a valid one because the whole point is to improve the consumer experience without fucking them over. And nothing about this fucking over the consumer. You just want to see the home. You're a tire kicker. Maybe you're serious. Maybe you're not. Let me show you the home. No big deal. As long as it's safe, I'm going to validate that you're not a serial rapist or whatever, right? I'm going to do that. I'm going to show you the home. At the end of it's like, hey, did you like that home? Are you looking for a buyer agent? Are you represented? Actually, you know what? The first question is, are you represented? Right? Are you working with an exclusive buyer agent right now? You are? Cool. Sorry, can't help you. Oh, you're not represented. Cool, I can help you. Let me show you the house. At the end of it, hey, you think about buying? Cool, give us a shot. That's what this is. And the showing agent's going to get paid like $25 by the team leader. We know this is what's going to happen. The team leader is then going to go meet with them, or some high-level buyer agent's going to go meet with them. Hey, I know you just met with Rob. He's wonderful as a showing agent, but I'm the real deal. Let me tell you what our team does for you. Let me blah, blah, blah. You should work with us and yada, yada, yada. Please sign this agreement. And buyer's like, yeah, I'm not ready for that yet. Cool. We'll stay in touch and then we'll let me know.
Yeah. I think, you're describing, I agree with what you're saying. I mean, to ignore the rule, I think is problematic for Zillow, and they have to do something. No, hold on. Yeah. Okay. Because when you roll this back, Jimmy Mackin, right? Curator, smart guy, right?
Yeah.
Saw him speak a couple times on this, and what the genius of what Zillow has done with this, right, is that most sites or whatever, they're selling you a lead, right? A lead is something you've got to like curate, you've got to like manage, you've got to kind of warm up and everything else. And leads are only worth so much, right?
Sure.
What Zillow is tapped into, is they're not selling leads, they're selling appointments.
Of course.
And appointments are so much more money than a lead.
Of course.
Right? So this thing is this requirement is a threat, a big threat. I think a bigger threat than I thought now that they're doing this to their business of this right now. You can say, forget Zillow, just ignore the leads or ignore the rule, whatever. I don't think Zillow, and I know you're not telling them to do that, but I don't think Zillow
No,
can really. They need to come up with a way to make it work within the system that it is. Let's legit. They just can't be
dude.
cavalier about it like you are
No,
and say,
fine.
"Well, I would
My
just."
point is, I don't think this affects. Like Zillow didn't need to change a thing. They didn't need to do this agreement. They don't need to do anything. They just send a showing request, and then it's up to the agent or broker whether they want to comply with the rules or however they want to handle it. Having said that, if again, I'm saying that this result of this agreement is because Zillow is just trying to be nice. If Zillow is really trying to make money on this thing with these changes, there's a much easier, much better way of doing it, right? Which is Zillow showing services. Hey, broker, hire our Zillow showing services to provide you showing agents, right? For $25 a showing, we'll take care of it. And you know what? When you click that button, the next step is like, boom, this little form signs up, scroll to the bottom, click yes. And that click yes is, I'm going to agree to a 30-minute showing agreement that starts at the whatever and then terminates at the end of it. For this, I will pay Zillow whatever, or it's free or whatever the fuck, right? And then now Zillow can go and hire a whole bunch of people to be showing agents. It's not like they don't have the money. And it's not like the agents and broke teams won't pay them if that's the service they want, right? And now you're handing people a fucking appointment, not a lead. We showed the house to them already. Here you are. Do you want to pay me? The answer is, of course, yes.
I mean, that's another way. I can't see a consumer paying to go see a house, but I
Fine,
mean,
right. So the agent or the broker is like, oh, I got to pay somebody to do showings anyway. What do I care? Right. I'll pay Zillow.
Interesting.
Bang. Idea. Hey. And here's the thing. If I could come up with in the last 5 minutes, you want to talk about Zillow guys being smart? They've already thought of this. I said they're naive, like they're simps. They're smart, right? But they just, that's what's so frustrating. So if you're not going to do that, then fine. You know, have a team, have tours, have whatever. You wanna mucky up the process by saying, hey, before we can walk into this house, I need you to click this button here, read this, showing agreement, or read this buyer. Then do that. I think what will happen is, let's put it this way: if you have a team, you have a brokerage, I have a brokerage, and I institute my model, which is just pay the fine, cost of doing business. Fuck it. And you don't, and you want to, I would get a lot more business because I have less friction to the buyer. And you'll go to the MLS and complain and bitch and whine, and they'll be like, yeah, this is stupid. We should change the rule. Right? Change the rule. So here's some fucking free advice for Katie Johnson and NAR team or whatever, right? Almost all you have to do is change the timing of this. Okay. Where you make it, you must have a written buyer agreement, blah, 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 not before showing a home, before submitting an offer. Change it, just change that one thing, and you achieve most of what the lawyers and the plaintiffs I want to achieve here.
Yeah, I mean, you got to believe they've had these conversations, and for whatever reason, that wasn't enough for them. But I mean, I'm not defending this fucking rule. I mean,
the settlement is ridiculous.
I've said from the beginning, how are they going to fucking do this? Right?
Right? They're not. They can't.
But I just don't. Not following the rule is, yeah, it's gonna be problematic.
It's the American way. Not following the rules is literally the American way. I regard this stupid rule like the speed limit. Right. If you happen to be going 70 in a 55-mile zone and a cop just happened to pass by a cop, oh, well, it's your day, right? You got dinged.
Yeah.
Right. But right, you're one of those people who's like have to drive speed limit at all times. Okay, cool, Karen. Like, have at it, Have at it. The rest of us will be out here like making life easier for consumers. Yeah, okay. I mean, I guess that's how I see it, right? And I'm probably wrong. No one should listen to me. You should always obey all the rules, follow every dictate. I'm just pointing out, like, what logic says to me is, no, fuck that. I'm not doing some showing agreement. I'm either going to do a full-on buyer's agreement after sitting down with the buyer and explaining what it is I do and blah, blah, blah. And there's a match. Now, what I did write in my post, I do think this is important. And just like my personal story, that buyer agent that I worked with, he was like, look, we're going to work together, But if it doesn't work, just let me know. I'm going to let you out anytime, right? I do think that buyer agency agreements can be terminable at will, and they should be, right? And I think there's a reason why it could be like, you know what, non-exclusive. We're just dating. So it doesn't have to be exclusive, right? But you know what? Houses that I show you, I'm going to get some procuring calls on that, right? I'm going to have a claim on those. But if you're working with another agent and they show you a different house, that's between you and that agent. We work together for a couple weeks. You come to me and say, hey, you know what, Rob? I really like your style better. Cool. Let's sign this exclusive addendum. Right? Just a quick one page. We're now going to be exclusive. Done.
Yeah.
So I think that's one way. The other way is going to be the Uber. I call it Tinder, right? I want to see this house. Yes, I'm right here. Okay, you know what? Whether those are showing agents or desperate agents, my recommendation is don't even bother with, don't sign anything. Just pay the goddamn fine, whatever the MLS issues. It'll be a better experience.
I'm really looking forward to the feedback on this episode.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens for sure.
Yeah. And you know, so the people are going to be like, Rob, you're crazy. We're going to have this rule. It's going to be an ethics violation, $500 fine, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. Competition between MLSs can also exist. As we know, that's a story we haven't covered yet. We heard some real fucking seismic rumblings coming out of a state in the Southwest. So, you know, you want to be that MLS, then go for it. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
So let's leave it there because you're super uncomfortable.
No, I mean, again, I think it's a stupid fucking rule. Right. And I would say, rather, just to wrap up, because I know we're going long.
Yeah. Let's wrap up.
I think just like this kind of concession field came up, right? I think the industry is going to find a way to make this work, right?
Of course they will.
But we're I just don't. I think I wish that you and I had kind of thing other than saying don't do it. I mean, but it's a challenge, and maybe a vendor will solve it. Maybe somebody out here listening to this can I got it, right? So maybe this starts something. But it'll be interesting. I'm interested to hear the feedback here. That's gonna be
maybe the lawyers are listening to us. Which is, this is easily solved, guys. Just move the time frame from before showing to before submitting an offer. Because what you're really looking for is the plaintiff's lawyers. Let's assume the plaintiff's lawyer care about more than just money. Let's say they really want reform. What you're looking for is that the buyer knows exactly who is paying my agent, how is my agent getting paid, and what is the amount? Is there a cap? How's all that work? Those don't really become issues until you submit an offer anyway. Right. So you say before you submit an offer, you have to have a written buyer agency agreement, and that the MLS can enforce.
Yeah,
right.
That is a another way of doing this. Yeah.
And the industry as a whole would be fine with that. Now we've worked together for a little bit, right? We think this buyer's real serious. We get along. I've already provided some service for free. That's my risk. Hey, you want to write an offer? Hey, we're going to need to sign this written buyer agreement. You could sign that buyer agreement way up front. It doesn't matter, right?
Right.
Or you could sign it. We've been working together for a while. We've been dating for a while, right? Now we're getting serious. I'm going to need you to sign this agreement. And if at that point the buyer says, I'm not signing nothing written, but I expect you to draft an offer, fuck off, man. That's not a client.
Yeah. And I think there's going to be some lessons learned from states that already have this requirement, and how, I'm not sure if they have the requirement before they show a house, but maybe there's some learnings there we can hear from people.
Sure. But so that's the real takeaway is, please, lawyers involved, just change this to prior to submitting an offer, right? That solves all these problems. But you're going to keep it to be prior to showing a home. All right.
It's always stuck out as that thing is always stuck out of this whole thing of being
it's so
odd.
dumb.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. And
all right, man.
All right. I'm glad though that we agree that Zillow is smart guys, but a little beta.
Listen, your Zillow as a simp thing is all you, bro. Okay, so.
All right, everybody.
Thanks.
Later.
Listen, content is everything. Two Brothers Creative makes it look easy. Right now, business owners really only have two options. The first option is hire a big firm. Now, this big firm's going to come in, make you think that they invented all the algorithms, and start charging you thousands of dollars every month. You don't want to do that. Second option is to do it yourself. Well, that means you got to learn SEO, SEM, copywriting, marketing techniques on the web. You should be really focusing on your own product. But now there's a third option. It's called Content in a Box. Give Two Brothers Creative 30 minutes a week and they'll handle everything. Plus, they'll show you how to bring it in-house later on. They'll rebuild your marketing foundation and give you tools and techniques and a new marketing playbook that'll actually produce real results and help you grow your business. Two Brothers Creative will give you the confidence and know-how to tell the SEOs and SEMs and all those other acronyms to get fucked. You're in control now. Get started today at thecontentbox.com.